How much pain can you endure? How much suffering can you feel when you keep your focus on whatever your goal is and you hang on to it and you don't let go, no matter what? You see, when it comes to getting any sort of goal that you want in life, whether you want to be a CEO of a company, whether you want to raise chickens in Montana, whether you want to write a book or be a famous movie star, whatever that goal is for you, doesn't matter. $1 million. It's your ability to change from where you are now to get where you want to be and to transform who you are. And in order to do that, you have to pay the ultimate price. You see, I've been a coach for over 12 years. I've coached people from all around the world, all different walks of life, thousands of one-on-one hours, seminars, workshops. I would have to be a complete moron not to see that the biggest thing that stops people from scaling and living the life of their dreams by far is fear. It paralyzes us, it plagues us, it prevents us from living the life that we know in our hearts we deserve. Whether it's the fear of failure, fear of rejection, it takes our power away, like immediately takes our power away. And ultimately, I believe that we avoid fear. We don't like fear because it gives us physical pain. It's that adrenaline that gets shot into our body. It's the worrying, it's the tightness, it's all of these things. What we're really doing is we're avoiding the feeling, the pain. But that's the thing that we need in order to grow. In order for you to change into the person that you are meant to be, you have to be willing to experience and feel and be with that fear pain no matter what. And that is the one thing that's preventing you from scaling, from living that life. Here's an example of some of the greats. You can take some skill set from the people that we celebrate, the people we revere, and we can apply it to our life. This is a skill, okay? There's this man named Tommy Caldwell. Do you know Tommy Caldwell? He's this world-class rock climber. And he shares knowledge of why he is the very best in the world. He's in a category 1. What separates him from everybody else. And it's not something that he's physically talented or born with. So listen carefully. There's a man named Jim Collins, and he was up there climbing with him at El Capitan, this rock face in Yosemite. And Tommy had these freeform rock climbs there that have never been repeated because nobody can do it. And he's like, Tommy, he's like, you're not physically just like this amazing dude. He's like this small guy. It was a nice way to say, like, he's this tiny dude with no muscles, right? And he says, well, you're not technically like the best climber I've seen you climb. There's nothing special about what you can do. And he's missing an index finger. This is very important for climbing. And he says, so what separates you from everybody else? And Tommy just smiled and he looked at him and he said, do you want to know what separates me from everybody else? He says, you're right. There's nothing special about me physically. I'm not talented per se. I don't have a great skill set technically. He says, the one thing that separates me from everybody else is this. He says, I can focus on the big thing and suffer for it longer than anybody else. That is what separates me from them. It's when I put my hands on that rock, I can be with that pain and just feel it and walk into my fear and hold on to that longer than anybody else. That is my genius. And that is his genius. Like Albert Einstein, everybody calls him a genius. He's a genius. You know, he says, in a quote, he says, I am not a genius. He says, my genius is in my ability to hold on to a problem and be with that problem longer than anybody else. And that's what he did. He would pace back and forth in his office for days on end thinking about one problem until he solved it. And people would have given up after an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 3 days, and he just kept longer, and that's why he was a genius. And that's the beautiful part, is that we have that genius in us. It's not a resource that we need to learn. It's not a skill necessarily. If the skill is anything, it's our ability to be with that suffering and keep our eye on our vision, our dream, or whatever that thing is for you, and not let go no matter what. There's this guy named Gary Player. He's a world famous golfer. And he says something really similar. It's really interesting. He says, man, I've been around the world. I've won more tournaments in golf than anybody else. I'm in the Golf Hall of Fame. And I've been everywhere golfing. He says, everywhere I go, people always say, Gary, I would give anything to hit a ball like you. You're amazing. And he says, but one day, he's like, I was just after this particularly frustrating round of golf. And again, somebody just looked at me and they said, Gary, I love watching you hit a ball, man. I would give anything to hit a ball like you. And he just got aggravated. You know what I mean. You've probably had this before. And he looked at the dude and he said, you wouldn't give anything to hit a ball like me. He says, you wouldn't get up at 5 a.m. every single day and go down to that green. He says, you wouldn't hit 1,000 balls. And at the end of the 1,000 balls, when your hand starts to bleed, you'd go up to the clubhouse, wash it off, and then wrap your hands and go back down and hit another 1,000 balls. He says, you wouldn't do that because it's not easy. He says, and nothing in life that's good is easy. It's his ability to hold on to that club and keep hitting that damn thing and do it and hold on to that suffering and that pain and keep his eyes on the big thing longer than anybody else. And that is the only reason and the only thing that separates him from all the other golfers. That's his only skill, if you wanted to call it a skill. That's the only reason he's in that Golf Hall of Fame. Now, my question for you is this. How much pain can you endure? If you decide in your life that there's something that you want, whether it's a mate, you want to talk to your mate, or if you have a goal with your business, or you have a really, really powerful dream, how can you keep focused on that thing and grab it and walk into your fear and start doing things that are going to scare you, that are going to push you outside of your comfort zone, that are going to really challenge you? I mean, it's easy for me to say because we're talking in this video and you might be getting it intellectually, but as soon as you step up to plate to do that one thing, can you think of one thing that you could do? Are you thinking about it now? I can think about one thing. Doing these videos kind of like puts me out of my comfort zone. But the cool thing is that once you're with this pain enough, you start to develop competency with it because you've been with it. And once you start developing competency with something, what the psychologists call the confidence-competence loop, then you develop confidence with it. You've done it enough and you develop confidence with your fear. You develop confidence with your pain. And once you develop confidence with this thing, you can do it more and more and more. And then you've done it a couple times and you're like, man, I get it. And you can apply it to anything in your life. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're attacking your fear in one area, it applies to everything. That's the beauty behind it. So my challenge for you is to do something that scares you, but don't give up once the pain starts to set in, because it's your ability to suffer with your fear, to suffer with that pain that it gives you, and to stay with it and keep it longer than anybody else. To hold on to it no matter what. Your vision, whatever that is for you, is worth it. You are worth it. That was kind of like a really motivational thing to say. You're worth it! But you are. You're freaking worth it, man. And I'm grateful that you got to watch this video. This is Peter Feysa reminding you to conquer any of your fears, just to be with your pain, be with the fear pain, and hold on to it, suffer with it, and don't wait, make your dreams happen now. Thank you, guys. Hi, this is Peter. Thanks for watching the video. Just want to let you know that I came out with a program. It's my first program. It's called the Conquer Any Fear 12 Master Steps to Achieving Any Goal and Being Unstoppable. It's an audio program. It's really cheap. It's a bunch of lessons. It's only $47. So follow the link and get your copy today. I would love for you to download it, listen to it, and then let me know what you think. I would love to get your feedback. But if you have this big, huge goal in mind, and you want to be able to get over any fear that comes your way, this is the program for you. You see, 80% of all success is your psychology. It's the power of your mind. So this program, this audio program, will help you master your psychology so you can achieve any goal that you set your mind to. Anyhow, follow the link, get your program. It's amazing. This is Peter Feysa reminding you to conquer any of your fears and make Your dreams happen now.